All right. Hey, everybody. It's good to see everyone. Welcome to a new semester. So exciting. Yeah, right. So good to see you guys. Definitely excited. There's no question. And when I say I'm excited, I am excited. I really am. I've been actually teaching here at City College of San Francisco for, I guess, 26 years. So 26 years of teaching here. When I first started teaching, I think that Nirvana was still a band, and Kurt Cobain was still alive, the lead singer of Nirvana. Tupac was still alive when I started teaching, the rapper Tupac. He not only was alive, he wasn't even famous. So yeah, I've been teaching a long time. And the Notorious B.I.G. was alive when I started teaching. So a lot of time has passed, and a lot of people who are legends are no longer with us, and that's how long it's been. And yet, despite all those years of teaching, I feel like I am just as excited about this new semester that we're about to have as I was on my very, very first day 26 years ago. So that excitement hasn't gone away from me. I just feel as excited as ever. And part of the reason is because we always have new students coming in. And this is a class where the students really share a lot about themselves and talk, and the students come from all over and have all sorts of life experiences. And so it just keeps it really fresh. So that's one thing. And then also I'm just really well matched. Like my personality is really well matched for this particular job of being your communication teacher. So I'm excited about the semester. Just as excited as I was 26 years ago. I feel super lucky to have this particular job and have something I love to do, and I'm definitely looking forward to the semester. Now, some people, though, may be looking at this video, and they are not necessarily so excited about the new semester. Maybe, and that's not to say they don't like school. Well, they might not, but that's probably not in most cases it. But they're a little bit hesitant, and why might that be the case? Like, why would someone maybe be nervous about taking this class or hesitant? And the main reason that we know that people are maybe hesitant about taking this particular class is this class involves public speaking, which on the surface is a good thing, but some people are nervous about giving a public speech. So I just wanted to put that out there on the first day within the first few minutes of class and just say that, yeah, I get it. I know that some people are nervous about giving a public speech. That's totally normal. And it's actually like, if you're not nervous about giving a public speech, I don't want to make you nervous about not being nervous, but it is kind of like the normal thing. Like most people are nervous about giving public speeches, and those who aren't, there's nothing wrong with that, but they aren't part of the mainstream, so to say. So if you're feeling nervous, that's normal. If you aren't nervous, well, then that's just one less thing to worry about. But if you are feeling nervous, that's totally normal. And in fact, that's the first step to dealing with the nervousness, is just knowing that it's normal. And once you realize it's normal, it's like, okay, I have that experience. And just knowing that someone else is having that same experience as you are having. So I remember one time I couldn't sleep. And so I was, unable to sleep, right? And I went to go see my friend, and I ran into her in the hallway, and she was teaching, and she's another teacher here. And she said, "How are you doing?" And I said, "Well, it's okay, but I couldn't sleep last night." And she said, "I couldn't sleep either." And immediately we both started feeling better. It's weird to say, but we did. We started feeling better immediately. And I think the reason is because, it didn't make us any less sleepy. She didn't give me like some caffeine or, take away the sleep or whatever. But I think the nervousness, about like feeling that you're the only one with this particular problem is very lonely. And then when you realize that other people are having the same problem as you or the same challenge as you, it immediately makes you feel better. So I think that's a lot of what was going on there. And so just knowing that other people are going through that same thing as you is just totally normal and natural. Everybody's pretty much on the same page for all of those things. So if you're feeling nervous about giving a public speech, just know that that's totally normal. And then I would also make the argument, and this is going to sound a little bit weird, but I would actually make the argument that if you're nervous about giving a public speech, weirdly, that is a good thing. And some of you are saying, Sammy, how could that possibly be a good thing? Like, what's the good part of that? Like, how could it be good? Like, how could that possibly be good? What's good about being nervous about giving a public speech? Where's the good part? And I think the good part there is what it reveals about you. Like, if you unpack this idea that you're nervous about giving a public speech, or you have communication apprehension or shyness or whatever you want to call it, that fear of public speaking, or whatever the term is for it, it's a good thing because of what it reveals. And it reveals that you want to do well. I mean, if you just think about it, when you ask someone who's nervous about a public speech what they're nervous about, a lot of times they'll be worried that the speech isn't going to go well, which means that they want the speech to go well. Now, some people might be saying, yeah, well, Sammy, of course we want the speech to go well. Why wouldn't a student want an assignment to go well? Well, yeah, but not everybody cares at the same level. There's a certain ambition that's reflected there, a drive. When you want a speech to go well, it matters to you. It's like when you call someone, if you call someone and you want them to like you, you're more nervous than somebody if you're just making a call and you don't, it doesn't really matter. It's just like you're trying to make a good impression. You're trying to do well. And so having that drive and that ambition is a good thing. Your great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-grandmother woke up one day and, she was, maybe I needed a few more greats there. Great-great-great-great-great. We're going to go all the way to like the saber-toothed tiger. And, she woke up and maybe she was feeling like she needed shelter for her family, and there was a saber-toothed tiger about to attack her, and she needed food, and this was a long time ago, right? So she went and did all those things, right? And that was her drive and her ambition, and all these years later she passed that on to you. So if you have that drive and ambition, it's because your ancestors had that drive and ambition to survive on this planet. Your ancestors that didn't have a drive and ambition didn't survive. So all these years later, you're the product of these people that have this drive. In this case today, there's no saber-toothed tigers to fight, or shelter. I mean, there's still shelter. We have to contend with that and getting food. But we don't. The urgency isn't quite exactly the same in that physical sense, perhaps, but at the moment that you're in class and you're giving speeches, what's happening is basically your body is giving you energy. It takes energy to give a speech. And so your body is giving you energy to give that speech. And that's what that nervousness is. It's that energy, really. It's energy that would have been used in the past to survive on that real basic level. And it's a matter of then directing it. Like, that's the thing we need to do. We need to direct our energy towards something positive, towards something effective. So you have this energy, and it's to give the public speech. That's what you have, and you're trying to give that public speech. And so that's really the essence of why we're here and why we're doing this and why we're nervous about public speaking. It's totally natural. It's just energy, and it's about channeling that energy into an actual public speech. So totally normal, totally natural thing to be concerned about, and it goes back to and it reflects our drive and our ambition. So if you're nervous about giving a public speech, don't feel bad. Just know that that's something that is reflected there. It's part of your ambition. It reflects your ambition. It reflects your drive as well. What I recommend to students that are nervous about giving a public speech is that they feel the fear and do it anyway. So a lot of you are saying, what do you mean, Sammy? Isn't that just like Nike, just do it? And it's not really, actually. It's not like Nike, just do it. It's a little different. Okay, so with Nike, they're saying just do it, right? We're saying feel the fear and do it anyway. So be in touch with your feelings, which Nike doesn't mention in their slogan. Nothing against Nike, by the way. But we're saying, like, feel the fear. Yeah, feel that, whatever it is, and then let it move through you, and then go forward and do whatever it is that you're nervous about, whether it be taking this class or maybe another class that's challenging to you or something else that you need to do in your life that's a positive thing. But feel the fear and do it anyway. The thing about the fear is it will move through you. It just can't stay there forever. It's, there's that point where you're like, oh my God, this is so terrible. But eventually it will be moving through you. And you might feel like overwhelmed by an assignment or overwhelmed about giving a public speech or making a video or posting a video up. But that will eventually move through you. So feel it, know it's normal, and let it move through you. It can only feast upon you if you keep running from it. If it can kind of run its course, your body will realize, your mind will realize that it's not really in a threatening position, and it can go forward. So feel the fear and do it anyway is kind of suggestion. And the other thing is that you will get more and more used to this situation. So this is the beginning of the semester. Everything is kind of unfamiliar to you right now. It's sort of unfamiliar. You don't really know what's coming. And so it feels unfamiliar, and it feels like a new pair of shoes, sort of. I don't know if you've ever had a new pair of shoes. I mean, you're excited that you have a shiny new pair of shoes, but they're kind of uncomfortable. You just haven't worn them in yet. You're not sure if you made the right decision buying them. And so you wear them around the house because, you can return them if you wear them around the house and don't wear them outside. And then eventually you're like, okay, I'm going to take my maiden voyage outside with my shoes. And, eventually those shoes that were so new, after you wear them for a long period of time, they become your favorite pair of shoes. Okay, your favorite pair of shoes. But it takes some time to sort of get used to them, if they are in fact a good fit. And I think this class is a good fit for you, I hope. The other thing is that a new class, especially a class in public speaking, is like a new pool that you're approaching. If you think about a swimming pool, I guess we're not going swimming very much right now, but at any rate, the swimming, let's say you're going on vacation and you're with your cousin Arugula, and she says, hey, let's go in the water. And so she gets into the water and the pool is perfect. And she says, come on in, we'll play Marco Polo. And you're like, I'm wondering if it's cold or not. So you kind of stick your foot in and you're like, I'm not so sure about this. And your cousin says, come on, let's go in. Let's have fun. So you head into the water and you go ahead and you get in and you're like, whoa, it's cold. Arugula, why'd you lie to me? You said this water wasn't cold. It is cold. And then what will Arugula say? What will your cousin say? What do all people say who've been in the pool longer than you if you get into the pool and you say it's too cold? What do they say? Well, invariably, they will say, you just need to get used to it. You just need to get used to it. Have you ever had people say that? Yeah, I mean, that's what they'll say. They'll say, you just need to get used to it. And that is true. You just need to get used to it. That's exactly what the situation is. So that's what we'll do. And so over time, you'll get used to this class and you'll forget there was even this period of time at the beginning where you were nervous about making videos of yourself, public speaking, or putting together outlines, or all the different things we do. You'll just get used to it. So a lot of people enjoy the class a lot. Some students ask me, is the class difficult or is it hard? Are you a hard teacher? They'll ask me that. I always say this class is medium spicy. And I use the metaphor of if you go to a burrito shop here in San Francisco, when you have actually burritos, these what's called a San Francisco burrito, where you have a long counter and then you get your burrito at the end, but you have toppings all the way. That's known as a San Francisco burrito in the restaurant trade. And so towards the end, typically, at the beginning, they're like, what kind of rice do you want? What kind of beans do you want? What else do you want in your burrito? And you get all these different things. And then at the end, they ask you what kind of salsa you want. And usually there's like 3 choices, right? There's mild, medium, and hot, right? The mild is boring, right? And the hot is so hot that you can't taste the rest of the burrito, which, if you're at a good burrito shop, has lots of great ingredients. So what I like to say is this class is medium spicy in terms of it's got some flavor, but it's not so hard that it's going to take over your life. It's just it's one of your classes that you're going to be taking this semester. So it's kind of, among the credit classes that, transfer or whatever. It's a class. And so it's medium spicy, meaning in terms of the difficulty level, it's just right. Okay. So there's that. The other thing is about this class is the fun factor. I have to make this clear. A lot of people, even if they are a little bit hesitant about giving a public speech, or they're, nervous about submitting videos or making speeches or whatever, they find that the reason that it kind of makes up for some of that part that they're a little bit hesitant about is the fun factor, and that is the class is fun. Part of that is we put the community back in community college here. You get to hear speeches by other students in the class. And by doing that, you start to actually feel connected to those people. You get to know the other people in your class in a very kind of real way. And that fun factor kind of counterbalances some of the other, stuff that people aren't as excited about. So those are all things to look forward to as you're, kind of in your first beginning of the semester, is this idea of knowing that, if you're nervous about giving a public speech, it's totally normal. I encourage you to feel the fear and do it anyway. And this is a class about communication too. I mean, that's the other part. And communication's kind of a great thing for us to have. It's kind of what we got as Americans. As Americans, we don't do a lot of manufacturing. We have a very small sector that does farming. And then we have, a large group of individuals that invent things. And then we have people that provide them with food and services, those types of things. And then we have the healthcare industry. And each one of those industries involves communication. And then there's the communication industry itself. And if you look at like your average thing, like this thing here I've got is an iPhone. This, for example, if you look on the back of it, it says it's manufactured in China, but invented and designed here in California. So we design things, but what do we design? We design things that are communication tools, because communication is kind of what we do. So regardless of what career you're going into, communication is going to be a big deal. And it's what makes you cool. Now, I know a lot of you are saying, come on, Sammy, what do you mean? You're going to make this, studying this is going to make me cool. Who cares about being cool, and how can a college class make you cool? Well, what I mean by that is, like, have you ever had that experience where people say, oh, so-and-so is cool, let's bring them in on this project, or so-and-so is cool, let's bring them, along for this social activity or whatever. Part of that is that when we define people as cool these days, we define them as being good communicators. And so being able to communicate effectively is really cool and makes you cool. And it opens up a lot of doors for you. The thing is that you are going to have a lot of really great ideas over the course of your life. You're going to have many, many, many great ideas. And as you're working through those many, many, many great ideas, there's going to be times where you are really excited to share those ideas with others. We want to make sure that those ideas don't get misunderstood or pushed off into the margins. We want them to be front and center. We want them to be clear and compelling. And so this class will teach you how to write clear and compelling speeches that are very well organized, and then how to actually deliver them so that people will listen to you. So those are all skills that we can work on. There's a lot of skills that we work on, and we're done with them. The great thing about communication is that it's a lifetime skill. So you come to us with a bunch of communication skills, we give you some more, and then it's a lifetime practice. It's different from learning to tie your shoes. So for example, when you were little, you might have learned to tie your shoes, and there's a point where you weren't very good at it, and it took too long, and you'd make your family late because you were tying your shoes. And then you got good at it, and you're like, boom, that's it. I've tied my shoes. I'm good at tying shoes. That's really what we're working towards, is this idea of you mastering the skill to a certain extent. But then the skill never ends. So it's not like tying a shoe. Like at some point you become the shoe tying master, and you're like, I'm the shoe tying master. Like, check it out how good I am at tying shoes. And that's about as good as you're going to ever get at tying shoes. But with communication, what we find is we reach that plateau, and then there's another plateau of communication skills. And so we never stop, it's like North Face, never stop exploring, never stop communicating, because we continue to learn communication skills over the course of our lifetime. And so our communication skills end up sort of being like a fine jewel that we keep polishing our whole life. It's not just one, thing, but we just keep polishing and polishing and polishing that one jewel over the course of our lifetime. And in fact, my grandfather lived to be 100, and I remember him, working on his communication skills right to the end. He was looking at ways to get better on the internet and communicate better on the internet, and just always interested in communication all the way through his life. So it's not something we ever stop. So never stop communicating is kind of the last part of that. So I hope you enjoyed the class. If you are nervous about it, know it's normal. Feel the fear and do it anyway. And know that this is part of a long journey of learning communication that lasts your whole life. You're going to get to know your other classmates, and that's going to be fun as well. And I'm excited about the semester, and we're excited to have you in the class, and we're excited to hear all your speeches and do all the coursework. And welcome to the semester is my main takeaway. Like, I feel so lucky that you've decided to take my class. And I'm glad to have you here, and it's going to be a great semester. So thank you. And we'll have lots of these videos. So this is just one of them, but this is one video that's out there, and there'll be lots of videos for you guys to watch of me talking about the class and different topics within the class. But if you're nervous, totally normal. And you can use it to your advantage. Okay, have a great, excellent, amazing day.